Hi, this is Bill Seaback, and this is part 4 of your interview prep. And in this segment of the interview preparation, what we're going to do is focus on what you have to say and how you say it about yourself in this interview dialogue. And I just want you to know that in the previous section I gave you a list of questions, and that is representative of the information that we'd really like you to be able to extract from the employer. And but it's also, because it's a dialogue and not a monologue, the employer needs to extract some information out of you. And so in this section, what I would like to do is prepare you for that part of the process. Remember, in part 2 we talked about how initially we would prefer to have the employer talk about the definition of the role, his expectations of success in the role, and talk about how business flows through the organization. And the reason that we want to do that is because when you talk about yourself to the employer, we want you to talk about yourself and your achievements in the context of what the employer gave you in terms of the definition of the role, their expectation of successful performance in the role, and how work flows through the organization. So how do we do this? Now, how do we talk about ourselves in an interview process? Well, keep in mind that every CEO, no matter what kind of a business it is, but especially so in medical communications, because content is the thing, and it takes really good, talented people to develop good content that is something that is marketable to pharmaceutical clients. Employers want to make decisions then based on how this person can make me money or save me money. Those are sort of the financial realities of every hiring decision that every CEO goes through. Should I hire this person because they can make our company money, or should I hire this person because they can save our company money? So when we talk about ourselves, what we want to do is first and foremost, we want to talk about our accomplishments. And the accomplishments that are going to be most important are those that are the 2 or 3 things that you've done in each job that you've had that you're most proud of. So we start with this. We say, okay, in the current role that I've had, what are the 2 or 3 things that I've achieved that I'm most proud of? And so we write that down on a list. And then you go through each of the jobs that you've had, and I want you to categorize these accomplishments. And between now and the time of your interview, you need to be very familiar with these achievements in your career, so that you can talk about these and have a facility with that information that is very natural in the course of a dialogue with somebody. What you don't want to do is be fumbling around in your mind while the person's asked you a question and you're trying to find out the answer. Tonight, as you're going through in preparation for your interview, these are the answers. This is where the answers will come from in terms of the accomplishments. And then the second component of evaluating the 2 or 3 things that you're most proud of in all the roles you've had is then looking for ways to tie that those achievements to addressing the question of can this person make me money or can this person save me money? So when you're going through your accomplishments, you want to think about all the times that you've made or saved money for your company or for your clients. And that gives the employer the opportunity to then justify financially in his own mind the decision about whether or not you're viable. Now keep in mind that many American managers make decisions that are risk averse, especially when it comes to hiring people. That's why you'll see many companies, especially sort of in the HR arena, their focus on candidates is how can I screen out, rather than how can I screen in for success. And what we want to do is get the employer to be thinking in the positive, affirmative way of, look, this is a person who's really talented and this is what they've done in previous roles, and I want to find a way to bring this person into the organization. Look, it may be for the specific role that we've brought them here, it may be for another role that we have right now, or it may be a set of circumstances that will allow us to create a role for this person because they're so talented and we think they're going to be so effective in our organization that we want to actually create a role. So again, think of between now and the interview the 2 or 3 things in each job that you've had that you're most proud of, and then try to tie those back to how that directly made or saved your company or your clients money. Okay, because this interview is a dialogue and not a monologue, there needs to be a real conversational approach to the time with the people from the client company. And I've given you in the previous segment about a dozen or so questions that are going to be helpful to you, and but those are really only a starting point. I want you to feel free to be able to ask secondary or tertiary questions based on the flow of information and the way that the employer is answering the questions. And he or she is going to do that with you as well, based on how you present yourself and directly in relation to the questions that they ask of you. Now, things for you to notice during the interview: this employer should be familiar with you and your background. You should not be getting the impression that this is the first time that they're looking at their resume, at your resume rather, while you've just sat down and they're taking a moment to look at your resume. They should be as equally prepared to dialogue with you as you are with them, and that's going to crystallize in your mind whether or not this is an employer that actually you took time out of your day to come meet with them. Do they have a vision about people that come in to meet with them that is sort of supplicant to them? In other words, they're the king and you're the serf, and you're just going to be another person in their little kingdom that's everyone's reflecting back on them? Or is this an actual real professional manager who values and validates and reinforces the people who work in the organization? And is this a company that promotes a team environment and an emotionally healthy atmosphere, or not? And these are things that you're going to be able to pick up and sense either directly or indirectly during the time that you're with this employer. And so getting back to sort of the matter at hand with you talking about yourself, again, talk about the accomplishments in the roles. You will have previously got the employer to tell you about the role that they want and their expectations, so you're looking for ways to tie your accomplishments to financial